Hello, new personnel. This is an informational video explaining the curious nature of Subject 16 instances. Please pay close attention as they are incredibly dangerous and almost immediately hostile to lab personnel. Especially him. If you see him, Subject 16 instances start as regular human beings, however with a special substance called... We were able to create an experiment called the Excel project. This was only able to be used one time to create our first Subject 16 as the supply of our special substance was completely depleted after, with no knowledge of how to locate more. Our first Subject 16 was... We found Project Excel at the designated drop-off area and... The face began to warp into a mask reminiscent of Renaissance. The mask cannot be removed and constantly augments his night vision, peripheral vision, and allows him to identify warm blood creatures up to 1,000 feet. Black Plague had not existed where he was from. The arms did not change in shape, however, now have an organic pipeline that runs from the torso to the wrists that emits a purple miasma and increases his strength based on how much energy has been stored. This miasma can be altered based on his intent and can become incredibly deadly if used to cause harm. One variation even allows the miasma to enter through your pores and consume skin cells from the inside out. The torso is now the housing of his energy. He no longer requires food to survive, so the stomach was replaced with an organic container for storing and releasing energy. He does, however, still require oxygen but uses the C02 to restock his energy supply. If oxygen is low, he can revert his stockpile of energy back into oxygen for consumption. The legs are now powerful and he can dash quicker than the human eye can track. He often shrouds his legs in every so it's even harder to track his movements, making him incredibly unpredictable. These legs also have an organic pipeline leading back to the energy storage in the torso. His incredible dash speed mixed with his ability to emit a miasma often gives off the appearance of teleportation. He has since learned new abilities and used them to throw the labs off in an attempt to thwart our plans. This even led to the destruction of an entire site. If you see him, do not engage. Report any sightings to the higher-ups immediately. Even just sighting him can prove to be lethal. The thing we will touch upon in this video are Subject 16B instances. Subject 16B instances are a hybrid of Subject 16 and a regular human. Subject 16 seems to be able to provide certain beings with power of his own when combined with the substance used to create Project Excel. How he can locate more of the substance, we're not sure and have yet to find any more ourselves. Subject 16B are different because they all possess individual abilities that differ from that of Subject 16. For instance, a Subject 16B called Echo was captured in 2008 by a lab task force. There were minor differences in appearance other than a few cosmetically, but while combating the task force instead of the regular miasma, the subject instead emitted a strange sound wave. This sound wave shattered almost every glass structure in the area, leaving even lab task force crippled. However, the Subject 16B instance must have used too much energy as she passed out, allowing for immediate transport back to the facility. We learned a lot about Subject 16B instances through this specific subject. The subject escaped with the help of Subject 16. She was thrust into a different reality. We are not sure if he ever located her. We have not since captured another instance. If you find any sightings of Subject 16B, report them immediately to the higher-ups. The last thing we will touch upon today briefly is Subject 16C. Unfortunately, due to one of their abilities, we cannot disclose much information. Whenever spoken about through any form of media, Subject 16C can immediately corrupt portions of the media. We believe this is the doing of, and an attempt to stop any attempts to uncovering the identities of Subject 16C instances. For this fact alone, we must deem the Subject 16C incredibly dangerous. If wants to keep their identities hidden, they must be either incredibly powerful or incredibly useful too. That concludes our informational video on Subject 16, and there will be more to come with your help. Be sure to go to the site archive if you wish to learn more about our subjects. Make sure you have the proper clearance. And remember, stay acerbic.